All right, so our class today is going to be on smart plans and campaigns. All right, so we're mainly going to focus on the smart plan section on it. All right, and then on some of the different campaigns, we'll talk about them even further, where you can access it for like the lead accelerator, all those different items that you'll have access to. All right, so the first thing we'll want to do on here, though, is access our backend of command. All right, so in order to get into command, we're going to go to agent.kw.com. All right, so agent.kw.com on here. All right, and once we go to agent.kw.com, all right, then we're actually going to put inside our username on here, all right, and our password. All right, so let's go and put that in real quick. I want to give everyone a second to sign in. Perfect. All right, so once we actually sign in inside our command account, all right, this is going to be our home page that we're actually taking a look at on command. So once again, we're under agent.kw.com. All right, and in order to access our different smart plans and our campaign section, that's going to be over here on the left-hand side. All right, so if you want to, you can always click on the KW logo at the top left up here. All right, and this will actually blow this out a little bit, and you kind of move it out to the right-hand side. I was going to say blow it up, but I went with blow it out on here. All right, and then on here we can actually see our smart plan section, and then we can even see the campaigns option on here too. All right, so with that being said, we can actually click on the Smart Plans option to set this up immediately. Now, there are two locations where you can actually set up the Smart Plans. All right, so not only will you have your main Smart Plans location on here, right, that fourth option down, you can also manually add the contacts to Smart Plans under the Contact section too. All right, so let's do that one first real quick, just to show you how simple it is. All right, so let's click on the Contact section over here on the left-hand side real quick, just to add inside a contact right away. All right, so once we actually click on the contacts, this is going to show our entire database on here. All right, now you can actually click on any of your contacts you currently have, and once again, in order to actually add the contacts to your database, all right, or onto your smart plan, you'll need to have them inside your database first. So you can click the Add Contact option up here at the top right, all right, or you can even click the Import button over here on the left-hand side too to import them right away. All right, so that way if you want to bulk import from a CSV file or anything, you're definitely more than welcome to. And if you are going to mass import from a CSV file, just a little word of warning on here. All right, make sure you download this pre-made CSV file for command, because once you download that, the first column you're going to see on there, technically the first two columns, all right, it's going to have all the headers that you'll need for your CSV file. All right, so it'll have the first name, middle name, last name, email, email to, mobile phone, all right, so on and so forth. All right, you'll want to leave those the exact same as to what they're showing when you first download it. All right, so if it shows, you know, first space name, all right, which it'll show on there, if you import your first name inside that column, but you put it first name connected, all right, it won't actually import for you. So make sure that that row is the exact same whenever you actually import this. All right, so that's just a little extra tidbit for you. All right, but I'm going to go ahead and click on one of these contacts. I'll click on Peter Parker, for instance. All right, now depending on which smart plan you're going to add the contact to, all right, that'll actually kind of focus on what you have in the back end of the contact as to how you can actually add them to that smart plan. All right, some smart plans are going to require neighborhoods. Some smart plans will require texting as well. All right, and very soon you'll actually be able to create your own custom smart plan also. All right, so we're going to show you where that's located too. All right, so I'm going to click on this one as a test one real quick. And if you notice on here, not only are we going to have all the contact information on the left-hand side, all right, but then over on the right-hand side, we're going to have the Smart Plan section. All right, so if we notice on here, we can actually see we added inside some neighborhood snaps back over on the 15th. All right, so now if I want to, I can actually click on the Smart Plan option up here. All right, and these are all the different items we can actually view for that contact, whether it's the timeline of what we've completed, any opportunities, smart plans, tasks, or notes. All right, so for today, we're going to focus on the smart plan on here. All right, if you notice, it says, "Hello, Scott. It looks like Peter Parker doesn't have any smart plans yet." All right, so we can actually click that Add to Smart Plan option on here to create this immediately. All right, so I just want to give you a heads up. Now, beyond that, there's also an option up here where you can click on Add to Smart Plan. So there are a couple different locations where you can actually do this, but I'm going to go through the most, obvious ones to help you guys out. All right, so once I click on Add to Smart Plan, then it's going to give us our different Smart Plan options that we're currently utilizing. So these are the ones that I actually have set up. All right, or I can actually see the Smart Plan library. All right, so this will show all the different Smart Plans that are currently available. Now, there should be 7 that are actually available for you guys to utilize. All right, so mine are kind of split up between my Smart Plans and then the Smart Plan library. Because if you notice over here, I've got 4 that are, quote-unquote active. All right, and then I have 3 over inside my Smart Plan library. So you might have all 7 inside your Smart Plans library on here. All right, but then you can actually click on any of them to get an idea as to what's going to be in here. All right, so for our monthly neighborhood one, for instance, all right, this is kind of the main one they started with back in the day for the Smart Plans. This will actually send out an email once a month with information on the neighborhoods you set up for that contact. All right, so every month when it comes back out, it's going to have new updated information on that neighborhood. All right, so any new stats, any new, pending homes for sale, all right, any updates. So on here, for instance, it says, duration is 30 days. All right, send the HTML email. Delay it 28 days, and then repeat. All right, or for the 8x8 on here, for instance. All right, duration 56 days. All right, then of course we can see on here send SMS or MMS, so obviously a text message. Delay a week. All right, then we have a touch task. Delay another week. Then we have a phone call. Then delay. Then another text message, so on and so forth. All right, so you can actually get an idea as to what's available on these Smart Plans. Now, currently, you aren't able to actually go through and customize them quite yet, but I'm going to show you where that's located, where you will be able to do that very soon. All right, so for the time being, I could just do something as simple as, click on Add to Smart Plan. And one thing that you may have seen pop up real quick, if you put your cursor kind of right over the name of the Smart Plan, it'll actually give you a little description as to what this is about. All right, so here's the monthly neighborhood nurture, or you may have seen some people call it the MNN. All right, so M is in monthly, N is in neighborhood, N is in nurture. All right, so this is a monthly email that helps you reach out to clients, leads, or recruits to show real-time market data specific to their neighborhoods. All right, so this is a very sought-after one that a lot of people will utilize. Think of it kind of like the This Month in Real Estate that you have over on eEdge, except it's going to be specific for that particular client. All right, so instead of it being a general one of like, hey, here's what's going on with all the different stats, all right, this is very specific. All right, so if I click select on here, then I can add it in right away. All right, so if you notice it says you have a Twilio account set up, all SMS messages will be automatically sent from your Twilio number. All right, so I just want to give you a heads up. We're going to talk about that in a second when we get to the campaign section, but if you want to send out any type of SMS text messages, you will need to have Twilio set up on there. All right, and that is a paid option. All right, it's not anything that's free, unfortunately. All right, but I'm going to click the confirm option on here. All right, it's thinking real quick. It should confirm in a second. All right, then that'll automatically add this person over to my Smart Plan. All right, so this way they'll automatically start to receive that monthly neighborhood nurture for us. There we go. All right, so as you can see, we have the active status, the date it was added, the date last executed, so we'll be all good to go on here. All right, so now I'm going to turn this off, though, because I don't know who has spiderman19@gmail.com. All right, but in this case, then it's automatically going to start to send out for that person, and we'll be able to see inside our timeline what's been completed on here. So if you notice, all right, Smart Plan, subscribed. All right, then the email, the information is unavailable right now, but it will be very soon. So that'll automatically update it for us. All right, so I'm going to click that unsubscribe button on here real quick. There you go. So I just want to show you how simple it is to set up a Smart Plan per each contact. Now for this particular contact, since I did the monthly neighborhood nurture, you would want to add inside your neighborhoods on here for the contacts. So you can click the Add Neighborhood button to go through and add them in right away. All right, so if they're wanting to just set it up for, like, say, for instance, they're looking to sell their home and they just want updates on the neighborhood, all right, you can set it up for that neighborhood, or you can even set it up for surrounding neighborhoods so they can get a little bit more of an idea as to what's going on in their area, basically. All right, or if it's obviously for a buyer on here, then you can actually go through and add that in too. All right, so a question just came up. What if command does not recognize the neighborhood of the contact? All right, so we've had that come up a couple times, actually. So what I always suggest in this case, if you click on the Add Neighborhood option, it will allow you on here if your web browser allows for it. So I'm using Firefox, so it's allowing me to show my location on here, so it'll start to pop up. If you click on Find on Map, all right, let me move that over. It'll automatically pull this up. The only thing is you kind of have to search in for it too. what I usually suggest is kind of search for that location, or you can actually just type in the location area on here. And sometimes the neighborhood won't actually specify the neighborhood name. Sometimes we've seen it at G's where it's kind of like a county that'll pop up on there. All right, they are updating this all the time. They're going to make it very soon where you can actually go through and make your own map on here, where you can actually kind of drag around what you want to share, what you want to show, so that way it doesn't just have to be based on the neighborhoods. You can actually make your own little circle in theory. All right, but what I highly suggest is searching for that location and then zooming in on it. All right, and once you start to zoom in, then you'll start to see those different neighborhoods or the different areas. So even in this case, like for instance over here, like Bithlow that's popping up. All right, well that's the entire neighborhood that's coming up on here because it's the whole county. All right, so you might have to just kind of search in and see what's actually popping up for it. But by going by the map option, then you can just click on this and it'll add that in immediately. All right, that'll make everything a little bit easier to add these in. Because the cool part is for the neighborhoods, once you add them in, then below this, it'll actually show you suggested neighborhoods too that are near that same location that you might want to add in right away. All right. Now, outside of just adding it per the contact, you can also go into the Smart Plans section. All right, so the fourth option down over here on the left-hand side, all right, is the Smart Plans option. All right, so once we click on that, then this is where we're actually going to see the back end of our Smart Plans. So what you guys have probably noticed before, this kind of looks very similar to setting up just any type of campaign or any type of email campaign. All right, so that's probably what you'll think about, whenever you're actually setting these up. All right, it looks, pretty similar on here. All right, so for instance, we're going to have our people plans. Very soon there will be referral plans on here, opportunity plans, and then even listing plans too. All right, now for the people plans, I kind of like how that sounds. All right, we can actually see the ones that we have active right now. All right, so even though it doesn't say activated on here, if you notice that's kind of circled out so we can't click on it, but as long as we have that added under the contact, we'll be good to go. All right, but then we can also click on the Add Contact button on the right-hand side to add over any contacts we want to on here that fit within the description of what's allowed. All right, so for the monthly neighborhood nurture, obviously they'd have to have a neighborhood. All right, so I can click that little person icon on the right-hand side with the plus sign to add inside all those contacts at once. Now, very soon you'll be able to share this, you'll be able to copy it, you'll be able to edit it, and then even trash it as well. All right, so I just want to give you a heads up, very soon you'll be able to customize all this information on here to make everything that much more seamless for you. All right, but at this current time, we're just able to use what's currently available for us. All right, so there are 7 on here, though. So we have the monthly neighborhood nurture, 8x8 contacts, quarterly call plan. There's a midterm nurture on here, too. All right, and then under our library section, we can actually view all these. So these are where all 7 will actually pop up on here. All right, so as you can see, there's even a long-term nurture. Geez, there's a birthday option on here, too. There's a bi-weekly neighborhood option. All right, so other items to really help out at the end of the day. All right, so this one comes out a little bit quicker, obviously, than the monthly neighborhood one. All right, now all you'd have to do is just click on the Add Smart Plan option. This one's already added, so I'm good to go on there. All right, and then, of course, once again, you can click on the View Steps to get an idea as to what you're sending out. All right, so very soon you'll actually be able to create these from scratch. You'll be able to edit these even further, but I just want to give you a heads up as to where these smart plans are currently so you can actually add some of your contacts to them right away. All right, so at this moment in time on, October 17th, that's kind of what you're currently able to do with the smart plans. Now, when we have this class again a month from now, hopefully you'll be able to actually go through and customize and edit everything immediately. All right, so that way you can make your own smart plans, you can drag everything around, you can update it even further. All right, but currently you're able to use those 7 different options to kind of add in for your contacts right away to send out. All right, so this is ever evolving, so I just want to give you a heads up on there. Thank you for the heads up on there. So someone said, so in this case, we do usually use Chrome on here too. I just happen to have Firefox open. I taught this class last second, basically. The other person wasn't able to teach it, unfortunately. All right, and then another question on here, where do we find the recorded version? Can do. There you go, that might help you out. Next week I'll teach it on Internet Explorer. That has like maybe 0.01%. All right, now one other thing to take a look at before we actually get into the campaign section on here too. All right, so once again we have the campaigns option over here on the left-hand side. All right, before we actually get into that though, I would highly suggest going under your name at the top right up here and selecting the settings section. All right, so once we click on the settings section on here, all right, once you click on that, then we can actually update a bunch of items that you'll want to utilize for the campaigns. Now for the campaign section, not only are you going to have email campaigns, you'll have postcard campaigns, you'll have Facebook ads, you're going to have, even other items on here for social media posts. Alright, so those 4 options are available on here, but you'll need to set up your apps first in order for that to be accessible. Alright, so I'm going to talk about the different apps that you'll actually need set up in order to utilize them. Alright, so let's click on Settings real quick. Alright, so once we click on Settings, this first page that pops up on here, alright, this will automatically display our apps that we can actually connect. Alright, so any apps that you currently have connected will be up here at the very top. Alright, so we have our Connected Apps section. Alright, and as long as they're connected, you'll be good to go. Alright, and the main ones I would highly suggest going through and updating. First and foremost, you'd want to update the Facebook scheduling one. Alright, obviously if you're trying to schedule this out over on Facebook. Alright, you'd also want to add inside your MailChimp account on here too. Alright, and then in addition to that, I need to update dotloop on here. Alright, then you can also add inside Twitter if you want to post out on Twitter too. Alright, or even further down, as you can see, here's Twilio for those smart plans that have text messaging options on there. Alright, but then even further down, you have your marketing automation where you can actually set up Facebook ads, Twitter ads, or Google AdWords. Alright, and all you'd actually have to do on here if you want to set this up, so for instance under Facebook, I can actually manage all these on here, but I can just click on Connect Account. Alright, if I click on Connect Account, for instance, alright, so as you can see, Google Ad handles all payments. There we go, that's perfect. Alright, but it's going to give me a pop-up on here where I can actually sign in to my email address that's linked up with Google AdWords. Alright, now one thing to note, if you are going to utilize Google AdWords, I know a lot of people are really utilizing Facebook ads right now, but if you do use Google AdWords, you're not able to actually utilize a KW.com email for AdWords at this time. You'd want to use either a Gmail account, alright, or if you have a custom email through Google, like through G Suite, then you could use that too for AdWords. Alright, but if you try to set up an AdWords account under your KW.com email, it's going to come back saying that the admin hasn't approved of this quite yet, or it'll say something of that sort. Alright, and basically that's just not allowed quite yet for the KW.com emails. Maybe in the future it will be, but as a workaround, you can just set up a gmail.com email instead. Alright, but if I click on any of these, like the Facebook ads on here, alright, that's perfect. We're good to go on here. Alright, or I could click on Twitter to link that up immediately. Alright, now once again, you will want to make sure that your apps are connected so you can actually start to utilize your campaigns immediately. Alright, so some of the big items under the campaigns, once again, will be under your marketing automation on here. Alright, so Facebook, Twitter, and Google. Alright, further up, we're also going to have our social section for Twitter or Facebook as well. Alright, and then in addition to that, for the time being, MailChimp also if you're doing any type of email campaign. Alright, now if you do need to set up a MailChimp account, I'll put this over inside our chat section too. Alright, you can always go to MailChimp.com/signup. Alright, so MailChimp.com, I'm going to put this inside our chat section, /signup. Alright, and that'll allow you to create a free MailChimp account on here. Alright, now very soon that's going to be updated where you'll actually be able to choose whichever type of platform you want to utilize for your email campaigns. Alright, but for the time being, MailChimp is the main one for that campaign section, and that is free for 2,000 contacts and 10,000 emails a month. Alright, so as long as you're within that limitation, you'll be all good to go. Alright, so I just wanted to go over this real quick just to make sure you guys have this set up. Alright, and once again, to access where we currently are, we just clicked on our name or our picture up here at the top right. Alright, and then we went to the settings section on here, and it'll be the first page that pops up for you. Alright, that first page on here. Alright, so now let's go back over. I'm going to click on the campaign section real quick. Alright, approximately that, what is that, 7th one down on here. Alright, so we're going to click on the campaigns option real quick on here. Here we go. Alright, now once again inside our campaign section, this is where we can access, obviously, all the different campaign options. So the first page we're going to see on here is going to be our paid campaigns. So basically any type of pay-per-click marketing that you have set up. Alright, whether this is something that's set up through Facebook, through Twitter, through Google AdWords, this is what will pop up on here. Alright, so no more having to actually go through Facebook, going through Twitter, going through Google. You can do that all through command now. Alright, you're also going to have an email section on here too, so if you do want to send out any type of emails or anything of that sort. Alright, once again, this will go through MailChimp, so you can actually send that out immediately. Alright, there's a direct mail section on here too. Alright, so in this case, if you want to send out any type of mail out, any type of postcard mail out, you're definitely more than welcome to. All right, and then there's even a section on here for social posts too. All right, so if you were utilized a platform like Hootsuite or Buffer, this can be very similar. All right, so in this case, currently, it's just for Facebook and Twitter. All right, but on here, you can actually go through and start to create all of your different posts that you want to schedule out. You can actually see what's scheduled out for the entire week on here. You can see it over here on the left-hand side, or you can even click on any of the dates on the calendar on here to create that post too. All right, so all you'd actually have to do to access this and to start a new post or start a new ad is click that Create New option at the top right up here. Now, one thing to note, if you are going to utilize the paid campaign section, or obviously the direct mail option, that is going to be something that you'd have to pay for. All right, so there is a payment information section on here where you'd want to put inside your credit card information. All right, so I just want to give you a heads up on there. So there are 3 items on here that are obviously paid for that the agent would want to pay for on their own, and that would be obviously the PPC section under paid campaigns, the direct mail section, and then previously it would be through Twilio as well if you're utilizing Twilio. All right, and that's for the SMS text messaging on any of the smart plans. All right, so if I click on Create New on here, for instance, then it's going to give me 5 options of what I can actually do to create something. All right, so I can create a social ad if I'd like to. I can create a Google ad. I can do a social post. All right, even further down here, I can do a direct mail out or even an email too. All right, so if I click on social ad, for instance, sorry, I clicked on that a little too quickly. Let me go back real quick to make sure you guys are able to follow along. So if I click on social ad, then it'll allow me to actually create that different piece just for our social media side. All right, now the big difference between a social post and a social ad at the end of the day, a social ad is actually going to go out to different people that have not liked your page, all right? Or maybe they've liked your page, but it'll go out to additional people beyond that. All right, whereas a social post is only going to go out to people that are either followers of yours on Twitter or obviously fans of yours over on Facebook. All right, so for the social ad, you're obviously paying for this, but you're also pushing it out to additional people. All right, so I'm going to click on that now, and then as you can see on here, we can actually go through. All right, we can put inside whatever our main goal might be. All right, are we trying to advertise a listing? Are we trying to attract listings? Do we just want to brand ourselves? Are we trying to attract buyers? All right, what is it we're actually looking for on here? All right, we can put inside the name of the campaign. So I'll put inside test campaign 10/ what is today? 17. All right, I'm going to say we're going to, let's do advertise a listing. All right, promote a listing and find potential buyers. Perfect. All right, and then where will your campaign run? All right, so if you notice on here, it has Facebook and Twitter, which we saw back in the back end of our settings section, and then there's also Instagram on here. And you're probably wondering, why is Instagram on here? It wasn't anywhere located on there. All right, well, Instagram is actually owned by Facebook. All right, so if you're trying to set up a Facebook ad, you can actually set this up to automatically go to Instagram as well. All right, so as long as you have Facebook set up, you can sync that up with Instagram too. All right, so I'm going to say just Facebook, and I can click on Setup Campaign on here. All right, now once again, you can go through, you can customize this later on, you can tweak this as well. All right, completely up to you at the end of the day. I'll probably need to reconnect that. All right, so in this case, once we actually click on that, now I can go through and I can search for my property address. I'm going to type in just a generic one. Let's see if anything pops up real quick. Main Street. All right. That's why. Let's do all listings. Perfect. All right, so I'm just going to do a very generic one on here. Here we go. This is perfect. All right, so I'm going to say this is my actual listing on here. I'm very intrigued if these are actually 123 Main Street or if these are just kind of test ones. We'll find out, though. All right, so all I have to do is just click on the select option. And if you notice, it originally came up with just my listings, but I changed the show option up here from only my listings to all listings. So that way, if you are doing this for another listing, for instance, maybe you're hosting an open house this weekend and you want to make a little boosted ad, all right, then you can change that up here to post that out immediately. All right, but I'm going to click that select option on here. All right, and as we can see, we've got our name on here. Perfect. We've got our listing linked up now. All right, it automatically pulled over some of our information on here, so then I can actually update the ad copy too. All right, so if I want to add inside a headline on here, you know, this one just says for the main copy, just reached 10,000, great income opportunity. All right, so I could actually put inside whatever I prefer. All right, usually it'll be some type of eye-catching headline. So if you are hosting an open house, maybe you want to put inside open house and the actual date and time on there. All right, or in this case, I could actually put inside just listed. Amazing Let's do 3-unit. What is that? 2 with a 2 1-bedroom. Oh, I guess there are 2 1-bedroom. Got it. Okay. Unit income opportunity. There you go. All right, so you can put inside whatever you prefer for the headline on here, and then when we look over on the right-hand side, we can actually see how this will update and what it's going to look like on our ad. So if you guys have ever been through Facebook, I can imagine you've gone on the timeline on there too. All right, so if you scroll down, you probably see some items that say sponsor. All right, so if you scroll down and you see one that says sponsor, and you're like, I've never followed this page, I don't know what they are or anything, it's because they're actually paying for these ads to be on your timeline. All right, so you're inside the target demographic as to what they're actually trying to show this to. All right, now obviously you can change the main copy. This just pulled it over directly from the description, so I'm just going to leave it as is for the time being. All right, but it'll also give you the character count over here on the right-hand side too. All right, so for the headline, you have up to 100 characters. For the main copy, you have up to 250. All right, so I'm going to save that real quick just to add something in. Then on Facebook, for instance, all right, we can actually put inside what type of ad we want. All right, so in this case, I'd usually suggest the Facebook lead ad on here. All right, that way it'll actually pop up with a little lead page for you to link up. All right, so it looks like, unfortunately, I'm connected on Facebook. It's probably because I just changed my password last week. All right, so, but it's not linked up with any business pages. I'll need to relink my account on there so it'll actually display properly for all the business pages. All right, but then you'd actually be able to link this up with your page that you're an admin on. Now, one thing to note, all right, under your settings section on here, whenever you link up your Facebook account, you will need to be an admin of that page in order to actually sync this up further. So I just want to give you a heads up on that one. All right, but you could specify what type of ad do you want. Is it awareness? If you're just trying to boost that out, is it for a Facebook lead ad? You can add inside the content on here too. Are you adding inside photos? Do you want to upload your own video on here too? So I can actually import this MP4 video to add that in. All right, and then once again, we can actually go over here and we can do advanced targeting. Do you want to just target your database or do you want to do a custom audience? I'd probably say 9.9 times out of 10 you'll do a custom audience on here. All right, but on here you can actually specify, you know, are we searching for USA or Canada on here? What's the location we're looking for? All right, so I think this was technically in New Hampshire, it said, but I'm going to search. Oh, I don't know why that's popping up on here for me. All right, but then I can actually search for my location. I can search for the radius on here, and then you can even come through and you can actually target by interest on here. All right, so I can browse and search for what these, you know, particular Facebook users might be interested in at the end of the day. All right, so this will help out tremendously. So if you want to find someone, for instance, that is interested in real estate, obviously we can scroll up and down. They're obviously in alphabetical order for us. But I could type inside real estate on here. All right, and then we can find whatever might pop up for it. All right, so here are all the different options on here. So I could say real estate broker if I want to push that out to people on here. All right, so completely up to you at the end of the day. Let me see if I can put in 32803. That's okay. All right. And then, of course, once you start to add that in, you can actually go through, you can even specify, hey, I want people that are interested in this, or I want them interested in this as well, and I want them interested in this, you know, too. All right, so that way you can actually specify on this particular one, like, hey, I want them to be interested as a real estate broker, but I also want them to be interested in real estate license. That way, if you notice on here, include people who match real estate broker, right, and must also match real estate license. All right, so you can actually specify that. Now, most of the time, you'll typically put an or on here, so that way if they just have like one option, you know, that's on here from the interest, it'll automatically pop up for them. All right, but if you want to make it very specific, you're definitely more than welcome to. All right, and then finally down here, we also happen to have our ad destination link. All right, this is where your audience will be taken when they click on your ad. All right, so in this case, we can actually put inside the URL that we want to for this particular page. All right, we can also choose a landing page. So if you've created one, you can add this in right away. All right, and once again, the landing page section over here. All right, we can actually find that down here. It might say sites on it, depending on, you know, how yours is set up. It might say landing pages. All right, but then you can actually put inside the link description on here too. All right, so as you can see, they have something. You could be coming home to this. All right, so right down here, then we'll actually have our link. So I'm just going to put inside kw.com. All right, so we can see this is where it's going to show kw.com. The button on here is going to say Learn More. All right, and you can change this as well if you want to. All right, so if they click on that, it'll take them over. All right, find your dream home today. All right, and we can notice that it actually just updates this right down here too. And once again, much like we saw for the main copy on here, 250 characters as well for the link description. All right, so you're going to have 250 up here and 250 down here for a total, obviously, of 500 different characters that you can add in about this particular property. All right, so I just want to give you a heads up. Or once again, just this particular ad. All right, now the final item down here would be the budget and duration. All right, then you can actually specify, all right, how much do we actually want to spend on this ad? All right, so when are we going to run it for them? So on here it's saying it's going to start tomorrow basically and run for 10 days until the 28th. And then we can specify, all right, how much do we actually want to spend on this? Now, just to give you a heads up, the minimum that you're allowed to spend on Facebook is $1 a day. So I can imagine that'll be the exact same on here. So if I did 10, I can do 10 over here. We're good to go. So the first part is going to show how much are we actually spending on the campaign. And then if you have Facebook and Twitter linked up on here, Facebook and Instagram, you can actually split it. So I could say, all right, so for the $10 we're going to spend for these 10 days, let's do 7 over here on Facebook, and then I want to do 3 over here on Instagram. All right, so I just want to give you a heads up on that. All right. And of course, you can always change this too. So say, for instance, if you're just trying to push out your listing for an open house or anything for the weekend, you probably don't want to do this for 10 days unless you're that far in advance. And if you are, good for you. All right, but in this case, I could specify, all right, it's going to end on the 20th. So I'm going to do it from tomorrow through the 20th. $10 in 2 days. This would basically be $5 per day. There we go. All right, so you can always go through and customize that. And then there is a publish option, so we can publish it immediately. Obviously, I left out a couple things on here. But I just want to show you how simple it is to actually go through and update that right away. Now, a couple things to note. Whenever we're on our paid campaign section on here, we're going to have a little bit of an overview of all the different, ads that we currently have running or that we have as drafts. Now, up here, we're going to have some of the analytics. So as you can see, for the last 30 days, how many are active? How many impressions have we received? And an impression is any time anyone has actually seen that ad. All right, so if I saw the ad 10 times today, that would be 10 impressions on here. So even though it's just me, it'll actually show on here. All right, you can see how many leads you've captured. So if you are utilizing that Facebook lead capture option, this will automatically pull over to command on here. Right? And there's even an option on here as well where it'll pull up and you can access those leads immediately inside command. All right, it'll basically just search for them and sort them out. All right, and then of course you can also see your total spent too. Now once again, you can obviously change this. All right, so it'll give you 5 different options. All right, but down here you can also see the overview. You can see the preview of the ad, the status, if it's active, if it's paused, anything of that sort. You can see the duration, the CPM, which is the cost per milli. So that's basically the cost per 1,000 impressions. All right, so how much is it costing you for 1,000 eyeballs to actually see your ad on Facebook? You'll have the cost per click. That's how many times someone, or sorry, not how many times, my apologies. The cost per each time someone's clicked on your ad, whether it's to go over to your page, to go over to the lead form, to go over to your website. All right, and then you'll have the cost per link click. All right, the cost per how much it's, basically costed. It's a horrible way of saying it. Let me start back on there. How much it basically costs for someone to click on your link at the end of the day. All right, and then of course you also happen to have your total spend over here too. All right, so a couple questions on here. All right, so a question said, is the search available for listings in Canada? That is a really good question, actually. I have yet to see that available on here, but let me try it out real quick because I didn't add that in. Let me do one real quick. Advertise a listing, Facebook. Okay, fine. We'll do test. All right, and let me see if I can find anything on here. I don't believe it is quite yet for the KWLS 2.0 because this is all coming from that KWLS 2.0, and I haven't seen that option yet. All right, but hopefully very, very soon it will be. All right, it looks like it's just spinning right now, so I'll come back to that in a second. All right, and the other question came in. We ran a paid Facebook ad through command last week, and the top bar with the metrics is not populated. All right, it looks like that is still not populating for me either. It might be updating right now on here. All right, this should start to update very, very soon, though. If it does not update, I'd say by the end of today, if it's been over a week, I would reach out to KW support just to alert them on that to see if it might pop up immediately for you, or if they can override this so it'll start to pop up, because you would want to see all of your metrics on here so you can actually see how well your campaign's doing. All right, because it looks like my little draft campaign on here has not popped up quite yet. All right, but it looks like everything is still loading on here, so it might just be going a little bit slower right now. All right, now beyond the campaigns on here for the paid options, yeah, of course. All right, the other big options you obviously have are emails, direct mail, and social posts. All right, so for the email section on here, once again, you will need to set up MailChimp in order to actually send this out. So I just want to give you a heads up on that. Remember, MailChimp is free for 2,000 contacts and 10,000 emails a month. Now, very soon, there are going to be other email providers that you can actually utilize too. All right, that was actually just talked about in the latest in labs. All right, so you will be able to utilize that, other provider if you'd like to. All right, but MailChimp's the main one right now. There are direct mail pieces on here, but the other really big item that a lot of agents will utilize are definitely the social post option. Now, this is another free item that you can use. So once again, it goes paid, free, obviously if it's under that, 10,000 emails, 2,000 contacts, paid, and then free on here. All right, so for the free section for the social post, this is where you can actually utilize this like Hootsuite, like Twitter, or not Twitter, sorry, like TweetDeck, like Buffer. All right, or much like going on Facebook and actually just putting in the post and scheduling it out on there, this is going to be very similar for you. All right, so there are multiple ways that you can actually go through and create these different social posts. All right, we can actually see right up here, all right, what posts are actually set up to come out on these particular days, so we can stay up to date with everything. All right, we can click on the left-hand side to actually go through and create these posts. All right, so if I want to create a new post, for instance, for Saturday, all right, create a new post for Friday on here. All right, and then obviously the week will update once this hits, the 20th. All right, I can also click on this, for instance, too. All right, I can see on here for the 23rd. What do I want to add inside? All right, and there is an option up here now where we can click on this and create another post. So that way we can rapid fire create these right away. All right, so in this case, if I click on the date, for instance, then I can actually go through, I can write out my post. Now, it will give you, obviously, the amount that you're able to write on here. All right, and currently that's just because I only have pages set up for my Facebook account. Now, one thing to note, if you're on Twitter, all right, it used to be 140 characters. Now it's 280 characters, so they doubled it basically on Twitter. All right, but on Facebook, you have 2,200 characters you can actually add inside. All right, so I can put inside, here is a post from my command account. All right, fun post on there. All right, we can add inside our photo on here. We can add inside a video. We can add inside a link. All right, you can schedule this out. You can publish it immediately. All right, so everything is really at your beck and call. You can actually go through and tweak this even further if you want to. All right, so if I want it to come out on the 23rd, I can make it come out on the 23rd. All right, I can change the time on here as well. All right, so whatever you prefer at the end of the day. All right, it's completely up to you as to how you want this to display. All right, now once again, since you can upload your post or you can add inside links, you can also utilize the design section too. All right, so if I see over here, here's the design section, I can actually create an open house piece. I can create a just listed piece. I can create a neighborhood snap, and then I can actually import that and upload the photo on here. All right, because once I click on this, I can drag and drop, or I can just browse, whatever you prefer. All right, then if I go through here on my downloads, I don't think I have anything in my downloads that might work. Oh, I do. All right, wants to add that in for someone. All right, say for instance I want to add inside this QR code on here. All right, then I can just click on that and add it in right away. All right, so completely up to you guys. Now, if you notice on here, it has to be smaller than 3 megabytes, which is still a massive file, and then you can add up to 4 different images on here immediately too. All right, so questions came in. How many of the social media platforms will be available in the future, like Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, etc.? I can imagine all of them. That would be my ultimate guess on here, because the biggest thing we've seen from all the different labs is, whatever your wish is our command. That's kind of the big slogan for it. All right, so in this case, I can definitely imagine that Instagram and LinkedIn will be on there too, and I can imagine very soon Pinterest will be on there as well. My ultimate guess over here, because I know they're working on a bunch of items behind the scenes on here. Obviously, they started with 2 of the big ones for Facebook and Twitter on here. All right, but anything that more than likely you'll have under Hootsuite on here that you could add in, where you can manage all the different social media platforms, all right, then I can imagine that'll also be under command very, very soon. And I know one of the other big ones that a lot of agents are obviously asking for is definitely Instagram. All right, as far as what the timeline is, that's completely up to KW and the labs team, but hopefully very soon. Yeah. All right, but outside of that, as you can see, we've got our page selected on here. Then I can just schedule this post to come out. Yeah, fingers crossed. All right, or I can just publish it immediately on here too. All right, whatever you prefer. Now, once again, this is no different than just posting over on your Facebook page, all right, or posting over on Twitter or anything of that sort. All right, but at the end of the day, you can actually just do it from command, so we can keep everything scheduled on here, everything set up. All right, so if I want to schedule this out for the 23rd, perfect, looks good to go. We'll leave it there. I can set the date and the time on here too. Maybe I want to send it out at 12 o'clock. All right, I can schedule this out. Schedule the post, and then I'm done. All right, that's all you have to do. All right, so Facebook post is scheduled for October 23rd, all right, across one page. And if you notice, I had create another on here, so it automatically popped this up with a blank canvas for me. All right, so I always kind of tell people at the end of the day, when you're going through this, let me see if I can refresh this, if it'll pop up on the October 23rd for me. All right, when you're actually setting this up at the end of the day, a lot of people will usually go through and say, oh, I don't have enough time, to actually set up, Facebook post or anything of that sort, or I don't have time to actually go through and, tweet or anything. If you notice, I just did that and it took me, 10, 15 seconds. All right, so you can actually set this up very quickly. And then once I was done, it just automatically came back with a blank canvas. All right, so in this case, what I always tell people is schedule out 10 to 15 minutes on a Sunday or on a Saturday or something to get prepped for the week. Schedule everything that you're going to post out. So that way, even if you're gone for a day, even if you're on vacation, or you're out showing homes, or out lead generating, whatever it might be, your posts are still coming out for you. All right, so that way it'll help out tremendously on here. All right, so let's see if this pops up on that 23rd for me. So here's my next week coming up. Hopefully it'll load real quick. All right, but then we can actually see our live and scheduled post. We can see our draft post. And then once again, we can actually view all the different channels we have on here too. All right, but it's that simple to actually set this up. And once again, you can also go into the design section to create any new designs that you want to set up on the campaigns. All right, or you can actually set up any landing pages that you can add in the URL section too. All right, so that way if you make a single property site, for instance, we could add that over and post it out immediately. All right, so I just want to give you a heads up on here. All right, unfortunately, it looks like it's still loading on here. Might be going a little bit slower right now. That's okay. They could be doing updates currently. All right, but that's how simple it is to actually go through and utilize that campaign section too. All right, now the final thing I do want to show you guys is on the email section. All right, so once again, we will have some of our analytics up here. All right, so if we click on that Create New option, much like we did previously, you can set up a social ad. You can also set up a social post this way. Obviously, I just clicked on the calendar on there instead. All right, but you can click on social post to create that right away. All right, then you have direct mail. You can automatically see that stamp on here, so you know this is going to be something that's mailed out. And then we'll have the email option on here too. So there's the envelope for the mail and the @ sign for obviously the email option. All right, now once you click on that, then you can actually put inside the name of the campaign on here, what you want to call it, all right, up to 80 characters. All right, what you're actually sending this out from and what account's linked up to. So in this case, my MailChimp account that's linked up on here is scott@scottlorrymarketing.com. All right, I can add inside specific list on here that's linked up with MailChimp. Looks like it's still thinking on here, unfortunately. All right, and then I can specify who am I sending this from. So I can put inside my name, for instance. I can put inside Scott Leroy. All right, let's see if this will work now. There we go. All right, so now it'll pull up all of our different lists on here. So I'll use my test one, for instance. There are no recipients. Fine. All right, I'll use this one. I know there are recipients on there. All right, I can even put inside my email campaign subject line on here, much like you're just sending out a normal email. All right, and then you can even design your template on here too. All right, so under this landing pages section on here, you'll actually be able to create different email options on there as well. All right, so I just want to give you a heads up. So landing pages and designs, you'll be able to create all these different options. So if I click on Apply Design, for instance, right, I can actually choose my email template that I've created on here. All right, and I can add inside my email subject too, and I can preview it, and I can send it out immediately. So the main thing you'd want to do before you actually even just send this out, because this is just kind of the legwork stuff on here of, how are we sending this? We're utilizing MailChimp, obviously, so these are where my list came from, so you will want to have your contacts in MailChimp. All right, how are we going to send it? What's our subject going to be? But the content's going to be a big thing that we'll want to take a look at on here. All right, so once again on here, let me leave this real quick. Perfect. All right, so once again on here under that design section, all right, we can see on here, here are all the different designs we currently have available. And if you click on that plus sign on the right-hand side, we can see the email option where we can create that immediately. All right, and once again, if you want to make any type of social media post to post out, you can, or any type of print post, you can do that too. All right, but this is where you can actually go through and tweak your emails immediately. Now, there aren't any templates currently. Hopefully, there will be in the very near future, obviously. All right, but if I click on email, for instance, then it'll basically just give us a blank canvas as to how we can actually add this in. Now, if you ever utilized MailChimp or you utilized Constant Contact or MailJet before, this will look very similar to you. All right, so on here, we can actually go through, we can add inside our layout. All right, we can add inside buttons on here too. All right, so anything that we want to specify. All right, if you notice on here, all right, as you see, we have the listing section where we can actually associate a listing and even a landing page on here. All right, so questions came in. Did I understand the contacts have to be in MailChimp in addition to Command? Yes. So currently they will. Very soon it sounds like they're going to have additional mailing options on here, emailing platforms. All right, but in order to actually email this out, you would want to have it inside MailChimp too. All right, now one thing to note on there. All right, so I'm going to say no. We're okay. All right, when in doubt, usually click yes, but I'm going to click no. So in this case, if you don't happen to have the contacts in MailChimp, because if you notice, whenever I actually did the campaign on here, leave that page real quick. All right, so under my campaigns, I'm going to create one real quick. Let's do an email, perfect. All right, when I went to the recipient list on here, I actually had to pull up different lists that I currently have on MailChimp already set up. All right, so it's not actually pulling from the contacts over here inside our command platform, unfortunately. All right, but in this case, as a workaround, hopefully this will fix up real quick. As a workaround, you can set up PieSync, though, with MailChimp. All right, so you could actually go through, and if you have MailChimp all set up, all right, then you can actually utilize PieSync and sync your command contacts with MailChimp directly. All right, now importing into MailChimp, though, is extremely simple. You can actually just take a CSV file and mass import it, and you'll be good to go. It doesn't look like that's going to keep going, so let me refresh this real quick. All right, but if you aren't utilizing PieSync for any other syncs or anything of that sort, then you can actually utilize it for MailChimp right away. All right, and that'll help out tremendously. But you would want to have the contacts currently. All right, so as of October 17th, you want to have the contacts inside MailChimp too, just so you can send this out immediately. All right, now remember, PieSync is free for your first sync. All right, so if you aren't syncing with anything else, then you could sync it with MailChimp on here. All right, so under our settings section, I could come down here under PieSync, and I could connect this with MailChimp, and that would move all my contacts from Command over to MailChimp right away. There you go. All right, so we're going to end on that today, just to kind of end on, all the different items that you can do with SmartPlans and Campaigns as of October 17th. Now, once again, when we have this class again a month from now, everything could be completely different. All right, they're constantly doing updates on here, so I just want to give you a heads up on that one. One of the biggest updates to look for, all right, for the SmartPlans, very soon you'll be able to actually customize all these and create them from scratch. And then, of course, from the campaign section, very soon, you'll have different email providers that you can actually send the campaigns out from, too, beyond just MailChimp on there. All right, so there you go. So that is going to be it for our SmartPlans and Campaigns class for the day.